All right, welcome back. And Nabila Mohammed, the research analyst at Chapel Hill Denham, is joining me right now for us to take a look at Naira's volatility. Hello, Nabila, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, Nabila, are we gradually coming to the end of Naira volatility, especially with what has been happening in the last few days? Is this an end to the topsy-turvy journey of the Naira?
Well, I would say it's not a clear yet, but we have seen indications that some steps and policies are being taken into consideration in order to address the volatility in the currency. And it is largely stemming from the FX illiquidity that we have in the FX market. So supply levels are low. And when we speak about exchange rates, we are practically looking at pricing. And when you want to look at pricing, you have to look at the supply and demand. So when demand um, cases supply, we would definitely have um, fluctuations and volatility in the currency. So are we getting to the end of it? Well, we have seen indications from, the policies around the commitments that the CBN has made in terms of addressing demands that have the backlog, the FX backlog of about $10 billion. And the last week we saw around over 310 million cleared in terms of FX and sent a positive signal to the market and just trying to put in the minds of people that yes, the CBN is not just talking, but they are also making strides to walk the talk. So if we keep at this and the improved supply as expected or as they have spoken of that, as they have said, we will definitely see that the gap between the official and parallel market will narrow. Currently, the premium is around 45%, and we have seen the official rate depreciate of around 47.0%, and it's largely because of the indication that we saw in June. On the parallel side, we have seen it depreciate by about 28.5%. So all these issues will be addressed thoroughly when we see consistent supply in the market. In all, I would say that our FX volatility is actually a complex challenge that involves a lot of people to put their hands on deck, a lot of areas to be tightened up in order to address it. So a comprehensive approach is what we need, but we have to start from somewhere, and we are seeing that beginning to materialize.
Okay, so it's not a hurry yet, definitely, for the Naira. But the signs we're seeing, are they good? Are they good signs?
Yes, they are good signs. We have the fact that there are some low-hanging fruits, especially with the funds that are expected from some of these DFIs like IMF, totaling of over 10 billion. So once we get those low-hanging fruits, we'll be able to address some of the supply issues that we have. That is aside looking at the long-term things that we have to put in place and make sure they are up and running. Nigeria is still largely dependent on crude, and that's about 70 to 80% of our export earnings come from crude oil. So if we ramp up production and make sure that we are meeting our, at least very close to our quota, we would definitely see export earnings improve. Beyond that, we should also look to diversify export earnings. So all these issues have to be put in place really for there to be consistent supply of FX in the market. And all these, if these things that I've mentioned are properly addressed, would the speculation around our currency will reduce drastically, and there will be like a clear guide or stance with regards to the monetary policy authorities and how they are trying to ensure price stability in the FX market.
Now, Nabila, is there a value that you and your colleagues at Chapel Hill Denham are looking at in terms of the value of the Naira? Is there a range as to what has been forecast perhaps from your end or predicted that this could be the fair value of the Naira between now and December? Of course, at the NAFEM yesterday, the Naira ended at 869. We've seen it also depreciating on that end, while the parallel market too, of course, we're seeing a strengthening from that angle, from about 1,360 or so to about 1,1 or about less than 1,100 now. But What are you and your colleagues looking at in terms of where the Naira could be from now till December?
In terms of where the Naira could be from now to December, we are looking at the range of 800 for the official rate.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Can you come again with that
Okay,
figure?
can you
Yeah.
hear me
Yes, I can
now?
hear you.
Okay, so in-house, we are looking at within the range of 800 to 850 for the official rate. That if interventions are not adequate enough, we might likely see it go as high as 850, so we are 850 officially. But for the parallel market, we are also looking at a worst case of around 1,200 for the end of the year. So if issues around supply are addressed, we may see it, appreciate or strengthen before the year ends. But these two rates for the official and the parallel market rate are what we are looking at in terms of worst case scenario for the end of 2023.
That's still high. That's still a very high premium between the official and unofficial market. I don't know at what point in this country we will just get to only be looking at the official rate of the Naira. Yes, because it's really so sad, the arbitrage between those two markets. If that's what you're looking at, that for 850, that means that your organization is also in tandem with, I think JP Morgan said a few days ago that they are looking at 850 Naira to $1 at the official market for the Naira. But many Nigerians will really want it to be lesser than that. Now, we are now having good old days when Naira was like 250, 300. And that time too, we were shouting. Yes, I don't know really how we got. I know how we got here though, but we got here really so fast, because of a lot of policy mismatch.
Interestingly, before June 14th, the premium between the official and the parallel market rate stood at around 61.5%, and then we were around 460,
yes,
5, and the parallel was already at 730. So yes, there was some convergence immediately after the unification happened, and because of the persistent demand outpacing supply, and also the lifting of the ban that sort of pushed demand levels to new heights, we saw that the premium widened again and it's now around 45%. So I think it's still less than what we had pre-unification of the FX.
Yeah, it's less, but it's still high, considering that Nigeria is an import-dependent country. And we are not selling so much oil. We are not selling up to the capacity which we should be selling. Now, let me take it through another dimension, because Nigeria, what we do in Nigeria, we print Naira, we do not print dollars. So we need to give value globally to be able to earn dollars. And that brings me now to the issue of foreign direct investment, especially with the inflow of $10 billion, which the central bank and the central bank governor, as well as the finance minister, did mention. $10 billion inflow. Perhaps that's also why we're seeing this, the clearance of these backlogs. That's one. In terms of attraction of FDI, what do you think about this administration in terms of doing that, in terms of saying that Nigeria is a good place, is a good destination for investment? Now, vis-a-vis what has happened in the last 3 days, what has happened in the last few days, we've seen the UK, Canada is latest, I think the US too also issuing travel warnings to their nationals and saying that Nigeria, especially key hotels in Nigeria, are not a safe destination right now. What kind of message? Because when I also saw it, and I said to myself, I said, this kind of news will negatively impact us. The president on one hand is trying to say this is a good place for investment. Top nations in the world are saying no, there's insecurity. So what kind of signals will this send? That will definitely also impact our Naira, because it will impact our currency.
Of course. So I saw the news as well, and there's one thing I want to draw attention to, and that is the fact that security is very essential for foreign direct investment to improve. If you look at the numbers over the years, foreign direct investments have declined by over 55%. And it's largely because of the tension that continues to persist in the country. So it is one thing to go around and let people or let potential foreign investors know that their money is safe, their investments are safe, they can come and erect structures that can, boost foreign direct inflow. But there is also the fact that we need to take care of these insecurity challenges that we have in the country. So we need to structurally fix those issues, because it is another way to send a positive signal. It's one thing to come to you and tell you that you can come and keep your money with me or come and do something for me in my state. And I'm seeing news flows of how there is tension or there are threats to life and property in the location, and we're not doing anything about it. So yes, we would expect that the government we expect the government to structurally fix insecurity in order to alleviate whatever fears that foreign investors may have, in order to also improve our foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investments are really what we need in the long term. They are things that would be here, and once they are here, we would reap the benefits. So it is all the other flows of effects that we are expecting are, of course, the low-hanging fruit. That's the funds from IMF, from World Bank, from AFCD, and all those funds are just, they are not long-term. We need all the structural, the foreign direct investors to bring their investment. And for that to happen, we need to feel safe, we need to be secured, we need to the country needs to make sure that issues around insecurity are thoroughly addressed.
Do, do you see that happening at all? Do you think that this administration, with what we've seen in the last few days and what the president has said, do you think they have a hang on how to solve this situation?
In as much as they have not clearly spelled out the rules and laid down how they intend to tackle insecurity, they have also mentioned it amongst the part of their chief under their policy advisory council reports that it is one of the things that they want to tackle squarely. So with every other thing that they have mentioned with regards to monetary policy and other fiscal policies that is done, and they have taken the steps to actually start it, we also expect that we see them take proactive measures in order to fight insecurity. They are just starting this year, and the hopes are high for them to deliver on their promises going forward.
Nabila, one question before we go.
Okay?
What do you think will give Naira the salvation that is much needed on a longer term? What would ensure that the Naira is totally free? You know, you understand what I mean? Yes. What will ensure that the Naira is totally free from the prison which it has been in now in the last few years?
So I would say that there are a number of issues. There is just so little that the monetary policy authorities can do. There's also what the fiscal policy authorities can do. And we need to be, of course, we need to build up our FX reserves. We need to implement sound monetary policies around interest rates that would, support the levels of our currency. We need to ramp up production in terms of crude oil, and we need to diversify our export earnings. All this is a combined effort of both monetary policy and fiscal policy. And we need to make sure that um, every loose end that would bring about would negatively affect our currency is addressed adequately. Supply has to be taken care of. Export earnings have to be improved upon. Diversification of export earnings is very necessary if we want to see that our economy and our currency continue to remain strong and less volatile when paired with other foreign currencies. So when we become less dependent on imports and we look inwards and see how we can improve our local production and stimulate our local industries, all this will reduce the pressure that the currency is currently facing in the country.
Thank you very much, Nabila, for joining me this morning. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for your insights. I've been speaking with Nabila Mohammed, a research analyst at Chapel Hill, Denham, and we've been talking about the Naira and what we need to do in the short to long term. That's the show today. Thank you all for joining us. I am Nancy Naji. Be the best you can be and be the change that you want to see. AIT Reports is up next.